Oh hey there, welcome to my kitchen. So I know you read the video title and you saw this is a Project for Awesome video, and it's a Project for Awesome video about NaNoWriMo. So why am I in the kitchen? Well, the thing is, A, I wanted cookies, so I'm making cookies. B, I'm good at extended metaphors. So I'm going to show you how baking cookies is like making a novel. It's complicated, it's messy, you make a whole bunch of mistakes, but the end result is awesome. So to start off making cookies, we're going to put some sugar and some butter in the bowl and cream it until it's light and creamy. It's mostly light and creamy. That's vaguely how I started this year's Nano. I sort of vaguely had a plan. There were some post-it notes on my wall. I was totally fine. But in order to make things actually flow, I need to sit down and do some planning and make things go smoother. Hence the corn syrup. It's going to make it a smoother cookie. Well, smoother cookie dough. Much smoother cookie dough now. So we've started our story now, and we've got some planning, we've got our initial excitement in there, we've done some more outlining so it'll go smoothly, but now we have to actually do the work. The sitting down and writing every day, whether it's word sprints, writing in person with other people, or just forcing yourself to not pick up the book you wanted to read, not scroll through Tumblr for 3 hours, but just sit down there and figure out what your plot is. For cookies, the stuff that holds it all together and really makes it cookies, that's going to be the flour. And just like how writing is a slow process, I'm going to add this in slowly. One teaspoon of baking soda is, I don't know, remembering to catalog the characters so that you don't have to search through your document the whole time. It makes things easier to look up. That one's a harder metaphor. Then you've got the fun bit. You gotta add spices to your story. So spices in your story could be that sense of humor you happen to have, could be that wild idea that somebody at a write-in mentioned, and you thought, well, this is no way this is actually going to fit my story, but you know what, I'll give it a shot. This year mine happened to be a lot of borrowing from Arthurian legends and remixing those into something that I thought was cool. In previous years I've also made it, just added a little bit of extra astronomy knowledge to my sci-fi story. So that's something I know I have that other authors don't. So it's a little bit of my personal spice, which is cinnamon. I love cinnamon. And of course we mix it in. Here's another fun metaphor. Right now, the dough is very flaky, and my normal mixer attachments are doing great. But if I keep going with that, I'm going to hit the writer's block of making cookies. So I'm switching to my dough hooks. Sometimes you just have to change your approach to the story or your way of thinking of it. That works as a metaphor. Then we add some more liquid into our dough. Case 1 egg yolk. So liquids kind of are a bit of the going back to the basics. Usually, partway through the novel, around about 40,000 words, there's going to reach a point where you're like, gosh darn it, what is going wrong? I can't focus on writing anymore, the story is not following the plan, things just aren't going well, your daily word count is low. So sometimes you kind of have to go back to the basics. Re-look at your outline, look at your outline of what it actually is now, and figure out what you need to do to make sure it all actually comes together at the end. Thus the liquid. Sometimes that still doesn't work because you put in the wrong kind of milk. So we're going to do some improvising and hope I don't kill the cookies. To continue my ridiculous metaphor, sometimes you realize that your tools aren't quite right for what you need. For example, that actually sucks at being a dough hook. It's better to use my hands. So our weird metaphor here is that sometimes you realize that writing on your own isn't working. This is where NaNoWriMo comes in. NaNoWriMo works to help create a community of writers. It could be just online friends that you find in Camp Nano in the summer. It could be the people that you see in the Twitter responses when you're doing Nano sprints together. It could even be your local home group. You can do in-person writing groups. We do that a lot at the library, we've done some at tea shop near us, or even just on Slack we've had some writing sprints. But the important part is you're getting together with other people and it creates a sense of community. You're all doing this together. So with my two hands, I'm going to try to bring this dough together. Also make sure your computer/camera is as well charged as possible. Anyway, have the dough is in a ball. Next step's to roll it out. I really don't have a good analogy for this one. Now it's still not perfect because this cookie dough almost never works great for me because I have a terrible mixer. But we're going to do the best we can with what we've got. I'm going to do the fun cutting. I really don't have a metaphor for this one. I guess it's making sure everything's working. This might be the bit at the end when you're editing some things and trimming. It also highlights how thin your plot is and how much potential for error there is. But when you've reached this point, you don't usually care anymore. Like I know all of this dough needs to be re-rolled. And sometimes you definitely realize you made mistakes. That's going to need to be redone. For the metaphor, sometimes you get really caught up in writing you don't realize you need dinner. So I'll be right back. Okay, after eating, the dough is playing much nicer now. A little bit of time in the fridge helped. So I think there might have been an analogy for this. I think having to do with trimming your story. Maybe about how that happens in December. But I'll be honest, I forgot most of this extended metaphor. I remember the next bit, but the next bit will probably get filmed tomorrow. You can also use some unconventional cookie cutters. You know, like unconventional places to write. Do that a lot. I write on the bus. I don't know if I've actually written in the shower. Definitely thought of ideas in the shower. And written them down as soon as I get out. So now we have a bunch of cookies. It's our first draft edited story. I'm going to put it in the oven. AKA giving it to a beta reader to look over and actually make look good. But while those are in the oven, I should tell you a little bit about NaNoWriMo. The basic level is NaNoWriMo is sort of a self-motivated contest where you try to write a 50,000 word novel in a month. It's designed to take you from the person that always thought, I'm gonna write a novel someday, and turns you into the person that has written a novel this month. But it does a little bit more than that too. It makes you actually a writer. You develop the habits of being a writer, you develop, kind of motivation, self-motivation to do it, and like I said earlier, you develop your network of support around you to help you continue to write. And all of this would not be possible without the amazing team that does all this behind the scenes. Not only do they make the website, keep everything running, find real professional published authors to write pep talks for you, they organize like prep months that help you prepare your novel. They definitely send out encouragement during the month. They have now what months afterwards. But they also do a lot of stuff to encourage writing around the world. And they have a young writers program that helps, younger writers, like elementary school, learn to enjoy writing. Something more than just those essay assignments you have to write for school. And writing, at least for me, is really important. It helps me put my creativity into something. And that can be really nice when my job is usually a lot less creative. It gives me an outlet for that. So by voting for NaNoWriMo as a charity, or for actually donating your own money, you're helping to change the lives of kids, adults around the world, and helping to make sure that they get some creativity in their lives. They have a way to let their voice be heard in the world. And now we've got some cookies out of the oven. Beta reader has returned some feedback. I'll do something with that later. So I've got a bunch of cookies here, but in the interest of getting this video up before too much of Project for Awesome is over, we're going to do that cooking show cheat where I cheat to ones that have been previously made. So here's actually the same type of cookie from last year. And the final bit of the analogy is that the decorating and the displaying is what you get to do with your final product. You add your title, your summary, posting on AO3, you add your tags and stuff, and then you give it to other people to share what you created. And maybe it's a small group of people, maybe it's just one of your best friends. Maybe it's even just you in the future, knowing that you will have written something. Or maybe you put it up on a fan fiction site and share it with your internet friends. Maybe you do end up publishing it as a book and it goes out to an even wider audience. But no matter who you share it with, you've made something. And that something could be cookies, that something could be a novel. But regardless, it took a lot of hard work, it took a lot of time, and it took a lot of support. And that's one of the things that I love, love, love about NaNoWriMo. It's all the support that it gives you. So if you have time, follow the links in the description to vote for NaNoWriMo as a charity, and possibly donate if you want. I also encourage you to browse the other charities because there are so many good ones that you can take your time and vote. And your vote matters and it counts, and the money that we raise does amazing work. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and to care about charity in this time of intense gift buying. And as they say in our hometown, don't forget to be awesome.